Wounded bunker swimming. That's the action you want. I took a break in the action to kind of go over some bunker spoons and bunker spoon selection. Recent years I've switched everything over to the Tony Maja spoon for many reasons. I'd have to say primarily because it's built out of stainless steel and it's basically unbendable, indestructible. So when I start getting into bluefish and bass and we're catching fish after fish after fish, it doesn't bend. When it doesn't bend, it doesn't lose its action. Some other spoons on the market tend to get beat up and bent, and it alters the action. It doesn't allow it to swim like an injured bait fish, or in fact, actually, the way Tony built this lure, he built it differently than all bunker spoons because he was looking for the injured bait fish swimming action. If you had an inferior product or a different type of product, and it started to get bent out of shape, your lure is not going to swim properly. When it's not swimming, you're not going to catch your fish. Another neat, from a conservation standpoint, neat aspect to this is we put a gigantic Sea-Wash stainless steel hook. Tony likes to put the bucktail hair on the back, which I think is a nice feature. But this is nice because it allows me to catch fish and release fish without injuring them. More importantly, if you bunker spoon, you know that you're going to catch bluefish. The last thing you want to do with a swinging treble on the back of this hook, if there was one, is to go down into a bluefish's mouth and extract that treble hook. In many cases in years past, I'll be honest with you, I have to leave the whole spoon down the bluefish's throat, throw them in my bucket, in my live well, and extract it back at the dock. And unfortunately, two things happened. I killed a fish I didn't want to keep, and more importantly, I was out of a spoon. So this single hook Sea-Wash is perfect. It's a big, wide gap. It can withstand the blast of a 50-pound striped bass, no problem. Another neat design feature is all bunker spoons will have a leaded keel. This one does as well. However, Tony likes and believes in red. Now, if anyone's ever chunked on my boat, they know that I cut the gill plate out of my bunker when I chunk because I want that red gill showing. This bunker spoon, as it's swimming through the water, is going to have that blood appeal or that red appeal, kind of like an injured fish or the gills of a fish. I think, revert back to a white lure with a red head. It's very, very, very effective. As the case with any other good product on the market, you're going to come down to quality components. Here we're using a gigantic heavy-duty split ring, and when we're actually trolling, we're using a cross-lock swivel with a B chain. You can get into heavy-duty offshore swivels as well, ball-bearing swivels. Either one of these products is perfect. We just obviously place it right on here. I'm not going to lock it, but imagine a lock, and it's going to give us that side-to-side action that we're looking for. We adhere these bunker spoons with anywhere from 15 to 20 foot of fluorocarbon. I'm a big fan of, I just run 17 feet of 80-pound gamma fluorocarbon. I like 17 for primarily because I'm fishing structure. And a lot of cases I'm fishing structure in 18, 20, 25 foot of water. And I know that if I pull up on 17 feet of fluorocarbon, I know that if I'm snagged on bottom, which will happen, I'm not losing any wire. Now, this is most important is wire. How much wire did I lose? Now, if you're using old style reels or non-line counter reels, wire becomes an integral part. If we're trolling in 50, 60 feet of water, we need to have as much wire as we can possibly have to get down into the strike zone. So if we start losing line or losing wire because we're snagging up on bottom, we're kind of out of the strike zone, or we may be in the strike zone, we may not be in the strike zone. So 17 feet of fluorocarbon leader, should you snag bottom, gives you plenty of line to hopefully get your lure back without losing wire. And of course, the lure I was just holding, the Maja spoon, was the size number 4. This happens to be the same lure in chartreuse. We also have from his lure line a size 3, which is smaller, kind of like a peanut bunker, a small adult bunker, a herring. It could imitate a lot of different things. Again, you have your leaded keel that's red. There's a white spoon. There's different sizes. You got size 1, size 2, size 3, size 4. And really you want to match your bait of choice. When fishing slow, I'm a big fan of trying different things. Maybe a larger spoon even though the bait's small, or a smaller spoon even though the bait's, adult. You got to play around and experiment. But this is the Maja spoon, and this is pretty much what I've switched over all of my wireline bunker spoons to. Primarily because it's more effective because it acts like an injured bait fish as opposed to just another bunker swimming around in the school.